Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today I'm going to be doing my reading wrap up for the month of August, telling you about all the thoughts on the books I had that I read this month. Let's get into it. The month doesn't have that many days left, but I still think I could finish at least 3 more books this month, so do keep that in mind because this is a pretty small stack for what I usually read, but let's get into it. So I'm going to be going in most recently finished, and I finished this book a couple hours ago, and that is The Bloody Chamber and Other Stories by Angela Carter. I give this like a 2.5. The writing was really pretty, and that being said, it was hard to understand because I felt like I was just trying so hard to be pretty. So I'd have to go back and read it over and over to get an understanding of what was happening and what was being said. It's not a very blunt or direct book, so a German definitely didn't write this. But the setting, like the atmosphere and vibes it gave off were really cool. Like cool as in, yeah, it was actually cool, but it was also like cold and spooky. For where I live, I've talked about it doesn't really get cold here till the end of October, but even so, I think this would be a good book to read like the week after Halloween, like that first week of November, because that generally is cold and it's still kind of spooky because this book did feel really spooky. Yeah, I don't understand the hype. I do think furries will like this book. But a lot of like fairy tale retellings, so I am going to be unhauling because this wasn't really for me. Next we have one of my 5-star predictions, and that is Washington, A History of Our National City by Tom Lewis. It was a 4-star, not a 5-star though, but still I loved it. It's just not a new favorite. So weird thing about my edition, it had one chapter in here twice, and some just like repeated parts, so that was, I don't know, it's not on the book. I wouldn't take away a star or anything because of that. I just want to make note of that. So this is the Basic Books edition, and let's see what year, 2015, so don't know what was up with that. But so this is nonfiction, so how I review it is kind of differently, but basically I learned a lot. I learned a ton, and it was like exactly what I wanted in that matter. But with writing, I felt like it was a bit jumping all over the place, and then I felt like there were gaps between time periods, so I'm like, okay, what was happening then? And there were just a lot of loose ends. I feel like it didn't tie together nicely. This book didn't flow nicely, but overall I did learn a lot, but it was just kind of out there, and I feel like I could have had more, even though it's over 400 pages. Now we have a book that I borrowed from my dad. This was like a last minute mood read, and that is The River Where America Began, A Journey Along the James by Bob Dean. So this is another nonfiction. You can see this one is so much shorter than the book I just showed you, but it was so dense and so hard to read. I think it took me like 12 days to read, and this would usually take me about a week to read because it's my mood read, so I would read like 25 pages a day, but I couldn't do that with this one. It was just so dense, but I did learn a lot, but it's definitely one that you have to take a little bit at a time because it was so hard to get through. It felt like a chore, like I was paddling through a river, so definitely fitting there. But I did learn a lot, and I still recommend it because this started all the way back like 15,000 years ago with Native Americans, and it went to about the Civil War. The epilogue I felt like was kind of strange and out of place, but I mean, it's epilogue, it's not that important compared to the rest of the book. I still learned stuff from that epilogue, but I felt like it was just so random. Like, it was about Rosa Parks, who straight up American icon there, but I'm like, what does she have to do with the rest of this? Like, I don't know. I felt like it was really random, but I still do recommend this one. Now we have my historical fiction pick of the month, and that is The Many Daughters of Afong Moy by Jamie Ford. This one is so hard to review just because I had so much time off while reading this book because I had a dental procedure done and had to be medicated for that. Then I was traveling a lot, but I did overall really love this book. Again, with at Ria Books, a lot of their books, if you get it through Book of the Month, will have errors. Like errors that could be spoilers, not in this one, but in another one. This one had character names spelt wrong, so I don't know if these are just not edited as well as the other books they put out. I really don't know. That's just something so weird about this publisher. But characters, I love these characters. They were all connected, but we just see all through different parts of history and how it can all be one family, and how trauma is passed down, but it doesn't make them, you would think that might be repetitive, but it wasn't at all. And then we have so many different and unique settings. We have San Francisco, we have Seattle, and this is all in different time periods. England, China, I'm probably Baltimore. But yeah, I'm probably leaving out some. But it was just so many diverse settings and all throughout different parts of history, so you're bound to learn something. The writing was fine, but the plot was so fascinating. Epigenetics. I kind of uncovered something that I think might have happened with me with epigenetics. Should I go into the story here? Okay, so basically, I was going to a Civil War like camp, like not camp, prison camp. That's what it was. All the way at the bottom of Maryland, so far away from society, just at the edge of the world, basically, down on the Potomac, like kind of near where the Potomac meets the Chesapeake Bay, because my, I think, fourth great grandfather was a prisoner there. So I wanted to see where he was a prisoner at. I felt a lot of dread that day. I felt nauseous. I like just that something bad was going to happen, and nothing bad did happen. Nothing happened that was bad. But I'm running out of battery here, so I don't know if that was epigenetics at play or not, because knowing that my ancestor went through a lot of trauma there. So do recommend. Lastly, we have Living on the Borderlines by Melissa Michael. So I had to be really short. This is a short story collection, and it really showed the life of modern Native Americans and what life is like for them, and how even their trauma from the past of all genocide and everything that they've been through affects their modern people. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a star emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!